powerful 7 by 50 watt cobs or chip-on boards drive this unique looking retro wash. Jerry back with that Theatrically Jerry, and today we are going to be reviewing UKING's ZQ01243 Retro Light. Included with purchase is your user manual. This is an actually pretty decent user manual here. You have your safety precautions with the light fixture, as well as technical parameters, menus, and your DMX channel values, because this fixture does have several DMX channel modes. So definitely keep this user manual. You are also getting with purchase a 3-pin DMX cable, and this is for data. So if you're going to want to control this fixture with your light console, they have included a 3-pin DMX cable. You are also getting with purchase a PowerCon power connector. So they definitely have included a professional power connector for this fixture. So you are getting all three of these with purchase. The ZQ01243 features a circular design with 7 individual pods. It measures in at 14.7 inches tall by 14.7 inches wide by a thin 6.5 inches deep. It weighs in at 13.66 pounds, making it a medium weight fixture. The weight makes this fixture feel sturdy and durable, and that is due to its mostly aluminum and steel construction. Let's go ahead and take a look at the unique pods on the front of this fixture. Each pod contains a powerful 50-watt cob or chip on board, capable of emitting a red, green, and blue LED. Interestingly enough, it can also color mix in the CMY color space. We'll take a look at that later on in the review. I also wanted to point out that several listings for this light fixture claim that it has a 2500K warm white light as well. However, the 2500K warm white is not included with this particular light fixture. So you are getting a dedicated RGB cob or chip on board. The lenses have a unique texture to them, which helps focus and disperse light. The special pattern etched into each lens causes a 25-degree beam angle, which is not narrow like a beam, but it's also not super wide like a wash. It's a good combination of a wash and spot type effect. Each one of these pods has a unique characteristic. They can be adjusted on their tilt. You just loosen up these thumb screws here on either side of each pod, and you can actually direct these in any direction that you want tilt-wise. They do not twist pan-wise, but you can twist the entire fixture on its C-clamp if you want to pan it into a different direction. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back of this fixture. So we have our main 4-character typical LED display here, and this is for navigating the user interface. Directly below it are 4 buttons. You have your menu, up, down, and enter button. They do make audible clicking sounds when you select them. They did a great job with the silk screening here, so you can easily figure out which button you need to access. To the right here, we have our PowerCon power in and out, and this is for daisy chaining power from one light fixture to another. And on the left here, we have our 3-pin DMX in and out, and this is for daisy chaining data. So if you want to use this for master slave, or if you want to control this with a light console, you're going to be able to do that directly from the fixture here. So also on the back here, we have 2 oversized thumb screws that are holding the main yoke here, or mounting bracket. You're going to be able to tilt this to get the perfect angle. So you would consider this your main tilt, and then your pods here are going to have their secondary tilt on them. but I wanted to point out that you can actually tilt the entire fixture. You can also pan the entire fixture with your M10 mounting screw, which goes right here on the mounting bracket. I believe they also have included two M8s on either side, so you're going to be able to pan this fixture as well on your C-clamp or whatever you're using to mount this to a truss. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the built-in menus as well as the user navigation for this light fixture. It should be fairly typical to every other DMX with a 4-character display, but I do like to go over them to show you all the available options on this fixture. So, menu 1 is going to say A, and as a lot of us know, that means address. You're going to be able to set your DMX channel value here. So you can set it anywhere from 1 to 512. I'm going to keep it at 1. Our next menu is going to say CHND. This is your channel mode. This fixture does have 5 different channel modes, and to select them we're going to hit enter. It's currently in 23 channel mode, but you can do 21, 8, 5, or 3. I'm going to keep mine at 23. Our next menu is going to be our red menu, and that is to select the color pure red of the LED from anywhere from 0 to 255. This is fairly typical for budget-friendly light fixtures. Our next is going to be green, and again, anywhere from 0 to 255. And then we have our blue, anywhere from 0 to 255 as well. And then we're going to go on to our next menu, which is F255. It's currently set at 255, which is the highest value, but that is going to be for our strobe. So you can select anywhere from slow to fast with this, 255 being fast and 0 being the slowest. I'm going to leave mine at 0 because I don't want the strobe on right now. Our next menu is CL, and that is going to allow you to select the built-in solid colors. So for instance, if you select 1, you're going to get red, 2, green, 3, blue, 4 is going to be a yellow, 5 is going to be magenta, 6 is going to be cyan, 7 is going to be your white, etc. So that goes all the way to 7. Our next menu is EF, and if you didn't guess, that stands for effects menu. These are all of the built-in effects that are available, and this goes all the way to 30. So there are 30 built-in effects with this light fixture. Consider them macros as well, but you are getting 30 of them. You can select whichever one you want, and then when you hit enter, you're going to be greeted with the speed menu, and you can adjust the speed anywhere from super fast, which is 15, to 1, which is the slowest. Our next menu is SU, and that stands for sound control. So there are 3 different sound control effects here that you can select from. So you're going to select that. Then you're going to select your SE, which is sensitivity. 15 being the most sensitive, 1 being the least sensitive, and that is for picking up sounds on the built-in microphone. That is going to help this light fixture react to sound. So I'm going to keep mine at 15, and sound 3 is fine for now. The very last menu here is DL, and that is your dimming speed. So the larger the data value, the slower your dimming speed is going to be. You can do anywhere from 1 to 4. I prefer the slowest, so you have a more dramatic dimming effect. So I'm going to keep mine at 4 here. And then we are back to our main menu. This fixture has a 0 to 100% linear dimming system. Let's see how well it dims. Alright, so I'm going to test the pure colors, which would be red, green, and blue, and we are going to look at those separately later on. But for dimming, I'm just going to bring these up to full and then bring them back down to 0. So we have our red at full. Going to bring it back down to 0. Now I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. As you can see, there is stepping on the lower end here. And bring it back up and then back down to 0. Alright, let's go ahead and check out green. Green at full. And at 0. Now I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. As you can see, there is some stepping before it goes to off. Now we're going to do blue. Bring it down to 0. And I'm going to bring the blue up just a little bit. So as you can see, there is stepping on the lower end here as well. Alright, to give you guys a better idea of how well the dimmer is on this fixture, I am running the built-in dimmer macro on slow, just to show you guys any stepping that is occurring on the low and high end, because certain light consoles or controllers have their own way of controlling DMX channel values. So I'm just letting the light fixture itself dim itself. I also wanted to point out that there's very little banding with this light fixture for photographers and videographers. I'm currently running this at 1/12,000th of a second, and you can see a little bit of banding, but it's not too severe. I'm going to bring this up to 1/3000th of a second. You can see a little bit of banding as it fades out, but otherwise you're not going to see any. And then of course at higher shutter speeds, this is 1/350th of a second, you don't see any banding at all. The ZQ01243 has a 0 to 20 Hertz strobe. Let's see how well it strobes. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up red. And we're going to go ahead and test out the strobe here. So at its slowest setting, it can do 1 strobe per second. We're going to bring up our DMX channel. And as you go up, it's going to strobe faster. All the way up to its max strobe. And this does strobe exceptionally well to the point where it bothers your eyes. So the refresh rate on this strobe is definitely 20 Hertz. We're going to take a look at different colors here though. So let's go ahead and bring up our green. It does have a rather interesting characteristic where if you bring it all the way up to full on the strobe channel, it almost does a pulse effect. But if you drop it down to 247 DMX channel value, it will go to its highest strobe, which is a 20 Hertz refresh. Let's check out the blue. Blue looks great as well. This actually works very well as a strobe if that's something you're interested in. The strobe light effect is very convincing on this budget-friendly light. I've seen some that look absolutely awful. This doesn't look awful to me at all, so that's definitely a plus. Alright, so I want to show you guys the pure colors of this light fixture, and that is the colors this light fixture is capable of producing without mixing other colors with it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the red. And this is a white sheet of paper here. I'm going to show you the green. The green is a little lighter than I'm used to in terms of wavelength, but it still looks like a great green. And we have our blue here as well. Now I'm going to turn this fixture so we can actually see it hitting the piece of white paper so you can get a better idea as well. So I'm going to put the paper right here. There's our red. Here's our green. Here's our blue. I'm going to drop my shutter speed down just so you can get a better idea of the color of blue. Here's our green. Here's our red. Now this also does CMY, however it doesn't have a dedicated cyan, magenta, or yellow LED built on board. It does color mixing to create it, but it's a super believable effect, so I'm going to show you guys that right now as well. Here's our cyan. So they are mixing the other LEDs, but it does create a very convincing effect. And you're not getting a really weird ring look on the outer bands of these, even though they're mixing the colors. So you're going to get a smooth color with these built-in colors from the factory. So you're not getting a really weird ring of color because it's color mixing. Here's our magenta. Here's our yellow. So those are the CMY colors that are built in, just in case you're curious. They are not true CMY, but they are pretty close to it. I've seen better, but I've also seen a lot worse. So these don't look too bad for CMY. This is the white, and it's not considered a pure color on here because it doesn't have a dedicated white, but it doesn't look bad. And I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys. It is a cool white. It's definitely not 100% neutral. There is a little blue mixed in with it. However, you can mix your red or your blue dedicated LED to this white channel to create a warmer or cooler white light. But I just wanted to show you that there is in fact white on here, and it doesn't look bad. It's not doing a really weird rainbowy effect that you get when you mix your RGB together to get white. So not a bad job on it. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the built-in macros. I have upped the shutter speed, so the lights are going to look dim, but I really wanted to show you guys the patterns as well as the color. So this is the best way of doing it, so it's not going to look super bright, so keep that in mind. But we're going to go ahead and check these out. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the macro channel, and we have the color jump going on here. So this is going to jump from all of the built-in colors. You can of course adjust the speed channel as well if you want a faster jump effect. And we have some other jump colors here. We also have these really cool unique patterns that this light will do. You can adjust the speed on these as well. So if you want a more chaotic pattern effect, we can do that. So as you can see, there's a lot of really cool patterns built in to the macros here. We have a really cool rainbow effect going on. It looks great on the back wall here as well. Definitely believable looking rainbow effect, so that's cool. This one looks like building blocks. This light fixture from UKING does have sound active mode, so I'm going to go ahead and take this out to my studio garage, and we're going to run fog with this on sound active mode. So let's go ahead and take a look at how well the microphone picks up sound on this. UKING's ZQ01243 does have a active built-in cooling system. I have removed my external mic so we can pick up as much sound as possible, but I want to do a sound test to let you guys hear how loud this fixture is at full output. One thing that really interested me about this light fixture was that each one of these pods has its own dedicated active cooling system. So there are actually 7 fans just dedicated to cooling down the LEDs on each pod. And each pod also has these unique radial fans. They're metal. They act as a heat sink to wick away heat from the cob or chip on board. Hidden behind the bracket here, we also have a active cooling system on either side, and this is to cool down the PSU as well as the electrical components contained within the back of this unit. So there are a lot of cooling fans on this, and I love seeing that because heat is the #1 killer of LEDs and LED lights in general. So with that being said, again, let's go ahead and hear how loud this fixture gets at full output. Alright, so I'm about a foot away from the light fixture to the camera here, and I'm going to go ahead and let you guys hear how loud the system is when it's just idling. So I can definitely hear it. I'm about 3 feet away. Again, there are a lot of fans on this fixture, so it is going to be audible, but it's not super loud. You're not going to hear this from 10 feet away or if it's hanging up somewhere. So the fans, while they're not the quietest I've ever heard, they're not loud, they're not making a whining sound. We are going to bump up every single LED just so we can get the fans spinning as fast as possible and give you guys a better idea of how loud this is. Okay, so we have every single LED on. I did hear the fans pick up a little bit. We're going to give it a few more seconds to really kick in. And basically that is as loud as these fans are going to get, and that's with full output from all of the LEDs. So we are about 2 feet away now, because I did move this back a little bit, and you guys can hear the fans, but they're not super loud. I'm going to bring this up closer. We are now less than a foot away from these fans. Again, not super loud. They're all just doing their job, cooling the LEDs down. They're doing a great job of cooling them. Each one of these pods has its own dedicated fan, as well as built-in fans on the back to cool off the power supply, as well as the motherboard for this light fixture. I am going to put a link down below in my description if you're interested in purchasing one of these. You can do so directly from UKING. I will post to other sites just in case you don't want to order through their website. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel at Theatrically Jerry. I do a lot of reviews on budget-friendly lighting, just like this, as well as stage lighting, DJ lighting, atmospherics, and equipment. So if anything like that interests you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel at Theatrically Jerry. If you have any questions or comments about this fixture in general, go ahead and leave them down below. I do read and respond to all comments and questions as quickly as I can. And again, thank you guys for watching.